Hey everybody. All right, let's just go ahead and get set up real quick here. Let's go ahead and get all the share stuff. Okay, so let's get started. Today is Workshop Wednesdays. Welcome back to another episode. And today we're going to do a few different ideas of creatively getting you all unstuck. If you're stuck on something, this is actually going to be really basic once you see what we're doing. First, sometimes overthinking it and dealing with imposter syndrome as well as trying to pursue perfection or chasing the unicorn, as I call it, can add a bunch of layers of scar tissue in a way to your creative process or just to your drive, your creative drive. And so sometimes going back to something that's really simple or basic and creative pursuing that can help unclog what's stuck in here on that, and hopefully breathe new life into your creative process and then get you back to creating things. And you can always make it as complicated again if you want to, or keep it as simple as you like once I show you what we're going to do today. And it's going to take you a little bit back to grade school. If you remember, grade school. So I forgot I need to go ahead and give this link out to one more place, the Yield Twitter platform. I don't know if we've ever gotten anybody from Twitter looking at us. Okay, so today on Workshop Wednesdays, we are going to talk about getting you. Is this even working? Okay. Creatively unstuck. ADHD Twitter. That's the people who I like to speak to the most because that's what I have to deal with. All right, I've shared to where I need to share. And if anyone has any questions, drop them into the chat. That's where I'll be answering. That's where I can see them because I won't be answering other social media because we're in the middle of our broadcast. Okay, here we are. So I can go over some house cleaning or just some general notes at first, and then wait for a few other people to show up before I start this. So that way, we have nobody misses out because I just now shared the link out a few more times. But so we've got some other things happening locally. There is a workshop that I'm teaching at the Billy Ireland Cartoon Museum in association with the Still Racism exhibit that's going on there from the father and daughter cartoons of Brumsick and Barbara Brandon Croft. And that's a workshop that's going to combine, it's ages 14 and up. That will combine teenagers and some adults who are going to go and travel through the exhibit and then basically have a chance to kind of create some artwork based off of their experiences going to that exhibit. And I can tell you that exhibit is awesome. It is phenomenal. I took a lot of photos, but you have to see it to believe it and be in the presence of this work that I was privileged to witness. There's a letter from Langston Hughes. I mean, if you are a follower of the Harlem Renaissance, Reconstruction, and things of that, especially with the civil rights prior to the civil rights era, then I think you would also be pleasantly, surprised or satiated by going to this exhibit. So I will be doing a few things that might give you a preview of what that's going to be like, that workshop. But today I'm going to focus on some more entry level basic stuff just to get you creatively unstuck. I find that with some of my issues, I think as a creative in general, we all find ourselves like mounting layers and layers of complexity to our work. Whether it's something that we feel like we're getting tired of doing or we've been doing it a while, but there hasn't been a good pop or response to that work. And then you start to question yourself whether or not it's valid, the work you're doing, or maybe you feel like you've stagnated and things are just kind of flat or you've plateaued and you don't feel like you're getting the type of flow, state that you used to have when you created. It could be anything like that. It could be external, it could be internal. It could be something that maybe you've been not doing anything creatively for a while. You've been kind of like just real life has gotten in the way and you haven't had a chance to explore your creativity or do something that you used to do on a normal practice. So this is something that is really basic, really entry level in my opinion, but still I think it's fun to do, and I think it's something that you can use just to get back into it if you want to just kind of ease into it and don't put too much pressure on yourself with doing that. So that's one of the things we're going to go over today. I'm taking you back to grade school basically, and it's still in the pattern of stuff that you've seen me do throughout this show that I've started in the past couple of weeks, but it's something that I did for my students, my middle school students, when I used to teach art in middle school. And I was like, you know what? Let's try this. And then one of my students, because she's under 18, I won't say her name on here, but she took that concept and applied it to this beautiful, like big, large mural piece that was part of our African American Black History Month celebration at the school. And it was just wow. And then I was inspired by it and encouraged by it. So I love the gift of creativity and art, how no matter what the age limits might be, that what you give to somebody else, they can in turn give back to you. And it's a constant replenishing on both ends of the spectrum. And that's the beautiful thing about art and creating and comics and all that type of stuff, whether it be paper crafts, whether it be sculpture, whether it be visual media or audio, music, any type of art. And to me, almost everything is art. So therefore, um, that allows for endless and boundless, no boundaries, boundless opportunities of inspiration and creation and innovation. And where would this world be without innovation? And if you think about it, it's probably the artists and creative minds that were able to bring innovation and help with our advances. I've got this little cord dangling right here. I just noticed it. It's kind of bugging me, so we're gonna stuff that over here. Sorry, I don't have a degree in wire management yet. Um, but I do have 3 degrees that are art related. So I mean, I don't know if that counts for anything these days because I know people who never went to school or academics that are just kicking all kinds of butt creatively and art wise, that are way past where I'm at. So I mean, just different paths, different strokes for different folks. So I got 2 of you here. I'm gonna sip some coffee, and we're gonna visualize and actualize other people showing up so I can actually make this thing stretch and actually have some engagement because I want other people to see this. I want you to see how simple and how basic this starts out and then how many layers you can add to it later on. I think I have some coffee left in here. Let me see. Hmm. But it's really cold. So anyways, I think I got off track, but as I've told you before, navigating ADHD, as well as some other issues that I have mentally and blocks and things like that. And one of the things that often happens to me, not just as a creative, but as a regular person trying to deal with day to day, is I get bottlenecked. What I mean by bottleneck is that there's too much stuff competing for my attention, and if it doesn't trigger the dopamine, then I am usually not liable to do it, or I have such an ambitious idea or concept that just mutates into something way big. The enormity of trying to do some of these things are so big that they become kind of paralyzing to where I don't end up doing anything. And then I waste a day away or I waste the time away, or I just end up depressed or bummed out because I didn't feel like I accomplished anything, even though I had these like really nice concepts and beautiful dreams that I wanted to realize. So one of the things that I again that I've talked about this on the show is that I started doing tangles and just doing doodles and things that would help, oops, right here, get me unstuck. And from that launched a whole new zine initiative. Things that I'm calling zine doodles or zine tangles, to where I was like, you know what? I would like to share what it's like in my brain when I'm doodling, when I'm struggling. And I'm gonna put these on paper or put these on canvas, and then I'm gonna start taking them through the world of comics and mini comics, and basically coming up with different ways to share this artwork and different ways to turn this artwork into maybe other higher brow concepts, maybe a little bit of graphic medicine, academia, but as well as just sensory wise. How many people do you know that have sensory issues? And so sometimes doing something that's doodling or drawing can help soothe that savage beast, when there's too much noise and too much clutter that's happening. And, getting back to that flow state that I was talking about. So again, this is basic. We got 2 people here. I guess I could start doing here. I'm going to take some more cold coffee and then we're going to go. Actually, while I was talking about that exhibit, let me share that link in the chat. And please feel free to share that around, especially if you're local, because we have a few more spaces. And once this thing starts filling up, then you're going to be like, gosh, I should have just went and signed up for that. You do have to email to register, but this is all the information. And let me go ahead and share that right here. So there's a Facebook event page right there. You can check out the information. Be sure to email if you want to register. If you are in the city of Columbus, Ohio, and I'm working with some other people on some other things to actually also do some stuff that's more virtual. That way, we'll also have some opportunities for people to either check out what's going on, maybe participate, at the very least, kill some time while they're maybe drawing, doing their own thing in the background. Okay, let's go ahead and get to this exercise. Okay, so remember around November-ish, right before the break that you'd go for Thanksgiving, if you celebrate that, at the very least schools do, and they would always make you put your hand down and you would draw your hand, you would trace your hand, and you know, after that, you would somehow make it into a turkey, right? Well, I'm not going to make you do a turkey today. What I'm going to do is, though, is actually take you back to the grade, and we are going to trace our hands. Something very simple. You know, I'm left-handed, so I'll be tracing my right-handed. You would probably trace the other hand. You know, um, and we're going to start with pencil just to give ourselves a little bit of a you know security safety net. Normally, I would probably, if I really was worried about it, I would probably go and start with a red pencil. You know, I still might do the red pencil because I'm reminded of something else that came out. That's Carmen Red, Scarlet Red. I think it's Carmen Red that I want to do this time. And you are free to use whatever tool you'd like. We will be going to ink eventually, so if you want to go to ink, you can do that as well. You can start that. But for those of you, I just want to demonstrate that you can do this with just a simple pencil, number 2 pencil if you want to. And I'm realizing that there's some gook in my fingernails. Hold on. I hate that stuff. Okay. All right. Okay. So I've got this going right here. And if it doesn't completely accurately look like your hand, who cares? Right? All right. So again, very basic, very simple. This is entry level stuff, right? I want you to understand that you can still go back to basics and fundamentals and entry stuff that might be what you think is only kiddie stuff, and still capture creativity, rediscover your creativity, and implement art. So now that we have our basic outline here, now we're going to go ahead and implement some of this zine doodles and Zentangles and things of that nature. So if you want to do some botanicals, as I call them, plants, I don't really do botanicals that well, so I call them botanicals. You can do that. Okay. If you want to do some patterning, you can do that. If you have a theme, like you want to make it all like, I don't know, Pokemon, Spider-Man, you can doodle and draw that. Honestly, when it comes down to it, when they say the world is your oyster, I don't know. I don't eat oysters. But within this hand is our world to create. So I like to put the fingernails in because that gives me another opportunity to further add some designs. And again, we're not going for accuracy. We're going for kind of like mimicry, like symbolic symbolism. Okay. So now that I've got that done, if you want to add those little knuckle things, you can. I don't think it's necessary because the whole intent of this isn't so much as that, hey, we're drawing an accurate hand. No, it's more like we are just going to have some fun with this and just doodle. We're going to doodle today. So I'm going to use this pencil or I'm going to use this pencil. I can't remember which one's more oranges. I think it's this one. Is this one's more oranges? Okay. Yeah, oranges. I create words on here, remember? Okay. All right. So you can start with one finger and you can simply just go ahead and create a band. 2 parallel lines don't have to be straight. And then you can just start with shapes, like a triangle, for example. All right. I think I hear my husky, either that or it's one of the kids coming down. Just triangles and circles is all that's happening right here. And then I would fill in one row, a little bit darker. And then I would fill in the circles on the opposite. And this is just about contrast, doing opposites and juxtapose, basically. So look, I just give myself a tattoo or jewelry. Okay. Now, or maybe up here, I wanted to do like a elemental thing like fire. It's like symbolic. Go ahead and get your avatar, your Pokemon, you know, Power Rangers, whatever on. So this is symbolic. This is now my fire finger. Okay. Um, and then how about we do? Let's see. Oh, I'll say that for a minute because I don't like that. There we go. Fix that. Yeah, this was the orange one that I like because it's kind of an orange color and it looks really cool. Why do I like this one so much? If you've tuned in, you already know why. But just in case you haven't tuned in, I will show you an example of what happens. See, just like that red. It's kind of an orange color graphite with a regular number two pencil and ink. So we have some fun with doodling and patterning and just kind of letting things go. Now, you can also do this in a larger, like this makes for great posters if you're in a classroom and you're doing a project with students and you want them to be engaged and not just use their hands and creativity, but you want them, if they're a little, they need to get some energy out, you can physically get them on the floor using butcher paper and they could trace their own bodies or trace each other or trace a whole hand or arm or write out words and then start patterning and painting and drawing, and that'll occupy their time for days even. What I mean, at the same time though, you're also getting some like physicality implemented. You're getting some artwork out of them. They're using creative faculties and things of that nature. And if you have an event, this also works towards them basically being able to decorate and add some nice aesthetics to your event or to an event maybe that they're putting on. So stagecraft, or if you're doing a historical celebration. So there's a lot of different ways that you can take this something as basic as tracing and then patterning and designs and text elements and stretch it into almost any type of category or subject matter when it comes to school, or if you have a workshop that you're working on. So again, now, and again, it's important not to overthink. Try not to overthink it, so what if I want to? And again, if you aren't the most confident person with art or drawing, then just go with basic shapes at first, or squiggles. There's nothing wrong with squiggles. I will be doing some type of squiggly element here soon. In fact, let's do it now. And I don't have to keep going there. I can go from the sides. I can go from wherever I want. Now I'm probably going to erase that pencil from earlier because I don't really want the lines from the finger, the folds. I'd rather have these squiggly lines happening. And then when we get to the point where we're going to use ink, if you so choose to want to use ink, you can sit there and still make modifications and make decisions afterwards, like from this pencil stage, and change it and adapt it to whatever you want. And if you go outside the lines, so what? Who cares? Most likely, we might use a thicker line of ink on here anyways, and that would cover that up, or you can always erase it. Right now, it's just important to just enjoy the process, put something down on paper, and just keep going and just keep building. Okay. And if you're stuck, you're like, I don't know what to put, even with this design thing, even when I'm supposed to let my mind go and doodle and I still don't know what to do, then you know what? Look around you. Look for things that are patterned. Look for things that are maybe like inspiring, or look for something. Look at the ceiling, look at the blinds, look at what you have, look at textures. Like I got a lot of wood type of stuff in front of me for shelving, right? So maybe I'll do a wood texture, but then you know what? I did do the fire element. Maybe I want to save wood for another thing right here. So what if I did this ivy leaf as my earth element, because I'm doing elementals, right? I kind of just decided to do that. And now I can sit here and do another parallel line. And you can go as complex as you want to, by the way. So I can sit there and give it two different brackets and then go really and then I could sit there and just look at a wood pattern, a grain, and a table even that's next to you, and just kind of echo that, like a tree trunk or something. And if I feel like that's all flattening out and that's not enough pop, that's when you could go in and darken these lines right here. And again, I'm going outside the lines. I'm messing up here and there. It's not perfect, and that's all right. We're getting the ideas down, right? We're just trying to have fun with it. Unfortunately, I have students, and I think I'm guilty of this too, that get all caught up in this whole worry about, well, it's not perfect. And it's like, you know what? It doesn't have to be perfect at first. Let's just get it down, put it down on paper. Okay. And then from right here, okay, so I got this little brat. You know what? I wouldn't mind doing some plants, some more plants. And you can just do different lengths if you want to. You don't have to do elements like I'm doing. I'm just doing it because I kind of have a vibe and a theme. And I just feel like elements are a really nice default to go to because you've got what earth, fire, wind, water, smoke, or what lightning, or if you're Pokemon psychokinesis or whatever, or heart if you're into Captain Planet. So and then like right here, look at this. I don't have to start on any end. I can start straight up in the middle if I want to. And I could connect them if I want to also. I told you this was going to be basic, but the whole point is just to sometimes go to something that might be more simple and kind of get free again and just get to creating, get to throwing things down on paper and having fun with it. And yeah, you can do this with watercolor, almost any medium. Right now, we're just doing it with drawing, and we'll probably do it with ink. So now, sometimes, like the one time I did this, the first time I did this, I put my X symbol in there because I love X's. Like I used to draw and paint X's all the time. Yes, it was like an affinity with X-Men, but also I just love the word. I like the X symbol and I like X. But I don't know if I'll do that this time. Maybe I'll do it. Okay. So I don't have the way of doing a perfect circle, right? So okay. So then I'm just gonna kind of like eyeball it and connect these lines. As I've said before, I don't think I've ever drawn a perfect circle or know how to draw a perfect circle, and I've never done really a straight line. Even with the ruler, I always mess up. So that's nothing new. Yet I persist, yet I create. So it's just kind of like a shield element right here, right? And I'm going to shade that in just so I know to myself. I could do X's to indicate that, like we do in the comic book world, that we'll be filling that in black, shade that in, fill that in. But I kind of like the orangeness of this because there's sometimes where I like to just leave the orange to seep through. And what you're going to find out in doing this project is that it's not just one element or one aspect of drawing that's going to be like really nice, perfect, or interesting. It's going to be the whole. By the time you're done with this whole thing, that is what's going to be the most interesting stuff. Is that taken as a whole, this will be interesting. It just will be. That's what's really nice about that. Again, we're using something that's simple, but then we're also kind of adding a little bit of layers of complexity and this is just another chance for you to have an inner monologue and talk with yourself, and maybe you got to work through some things, so maybe you do this, maybe it comes out, maybe you're able to purge some stuff that you were kind of having to deal with. I don't know. Or maybe you don't need to purge anything. Maybe you just need some quiet. And then this is a really nice exercise to do that too. Okay, so now we've got, you know what? I'm going to go right here. I'm definitely going outside the lines right here because this is what I want to do. Almost like another theme of X's right here, right? So I've got this makeshift crown of thorns that's actually just fabric. So it's coming undone a little bit, but I'm going to take some inspiration from that. And I can sharpen this pencil a little bit just so I can get a better point going. I think I just broke this pencil. What good is a sharpener if it just breaks the lead? All right, very sharp point. Oh, it's just breaking all over on me. Okay. Anyways, I could do a twist if I wanted to, but more importantly, I'm doing thorns. We're gonna make this metal. You don't have to do thorns. You do whatever you want. You can make this as delicate or as aggressive as you want. I don't know about you, but I know that when I was going through stuff, especially when I was younger, I listened to a lot of music and a lot of aggressive music, and it would help me calm me down, and I'd be able to purge things basically. I don't listen to music as much anymore, probably because there's five other people in the house, including my husky, and they don't usually like my kind of music as much. It's weird when they're younger they would headbang to Slipknot, but now they're like, yeah, yeah. So, but anyways, we got some stuff happening on this finger right here. I think I can do a little bit more right here. And it's okay to leave negative space or spaces in between because that will also allow some of your stuff to shine and basically be emphasized. So, again, if you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the comment section. This is streaming from YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and I will do my best to look up and pay attention and answer them. All right, so I've gone about this level. Normally, I would go all the way down, but I'm just going to go for now about right here to each one, and then I'll start thinking about else I'm going to do, or maybe I won't think. Maybe then I will just stop thinking and just start doing whatever. So by now I do know that I don't need the knuckle spaces here. So, and I kind of still have a hint of them anyways, just with the erasing. So, all right. So then we had fire, earth, water, right? Now, what is water? Is that a rain cloud or is it more just like a wave? If I was smart, I would probably pull up some references. But then again, I thought we were just trying to, do it chill like. So let's just do it chill like, okay. And then air. Yeah. Okay. So water. Okay, let's see here. And you can doodle even if it's just like almost like a kid like doodle. There's nothing wrong with that. So what? Yeah. Throw a band in here. And then do a wave pattern. And we'll darken the wave. And if you are watching and you thinking, man, this is really basic, this is just like kid stuff, well, then you know what? I challenge you to do one because I think that if it's basic and if it's really, really minimal, then and you find yourself being like feeling that this is way beneath you, I still challenge you because I think if my hypothesis is correct, I think you'll still get something out of this because at the very least you'll get a very cool design and you can show it off and say, hey, check this out, and inspire other people. So, and you can also fill this up if with words too, if you like doing bubble letters and things like that. That's also definitely applicable. All right, so now let's do some waviness because I almost again, it's the gift and the curse about talking while we're doing this is that as I'm talking, I'm basically like lecturing, right, or teaching, if you want to call it that. But then I'm not in my own brain accessing those those neural pathways of like flow and things I was talking about. So sometimes it causes me a little bit of a short circuit because now I'm overthinking it. So I guess do as I say, not as I do. Yeah, I'm like, what else is water? What else is water? What else is water? Oh, you know what? Fish. Dead fish, but the fish. I don't know if he's happy. That's kind of morbid, but okay. Oh, and gills, right? We can put scallops there if you want to. We have already gone past the other points on the knuckles, but you can do scallops, and that's another pattern. And right here, I'm gonna basically do another band. I'm carving so much into the paper that my pencil's kind of like sliding. Here's the scallop pattern, basically. I call them scallops, but they kind of look like scales. And you can darken it and fill in the blacks, as we say. And then there's a lot of you can go this way too if you want to. Okay. In fact, I'm going to darken this whole cloud right here. And then I might later on go back in and erase back or use a white opaque pen once I'm done inking to get more rain happening right here. But anyway, so it's like we're doing tattooing sleeves for fingers, right? Okay, and over here we have wind. So wind, water, earth, fire. Um, so wind. Now I'm aware that wind could possibly look a lot like water. And I feel like those are almost like sister or sibling elements to one another. And keep in mind, as you build up your library of assets, doodles, and materials of different things that you doodle, draw, and pattern, you will expand with that, and then your default or residue of creating will be like a nice little thing you can draw upon and add into different things too. So if you're listening and you also have access to the comment section, feel free to throw in some element things. What do you, in fact, question for you all. When you think of the elements, what do you think of? Throw those in the chat, and I'll try to incorporate them. Like, what do you think of when you think of wind? What do you think of when you think of water? What do you think of when you think of fire? What do you think of when you think of earth? Etc. So, get a little bit of Van Gogh happening right here. Okay. All right, another one done. Let's go back over the fire and start expanding the fire concept out a little bit. And then our earth. Okay, one tip I will tell you is to ease up on your pencil. I'm carving so much into this, it is messing up my lines and making them go crooked because it's like I'm forcing. So what I need to do is pull back a little bit on the pencil and go ahead and just have a lighter touch, even if it means it's a little sketchy at first. I can always go back and refine later on with the ink pen. Here we go. We got some more botanicals happening here. I can also thread those through if I want to. And we'll make modifications when we get to the ink stage. So, okay, we got the fish. I'm gonna put a few more. Looks like fire a little bit. So, um, and now we can start connecting a little bit because these elements are sibling elements and connected to one another. So, and you'll notice that I am not the most gifted person when it comes to drawing flowers or floral things, things that might be considered more, but I just keep building off the top of one another and it just kind of starts working for me. And again, try to ease up on your pencil. I keep forgetting that. I'm already got cramps in my hands and everything. A little Naruto Rasengan right here. I don't know if that's why they call it tangles because it kind of intermixes with other elements, but maybe I took that too literally, but I kind of still enjoy it. So I wonder if that's being generated from all the way from over here. Interpersonal relationship. And we can have some stuff creeping out over here. Like a vine, maybe. Okay, so now that I've got a lot of this fleshed out and I've got stuff started here, I think I'm going to start sectioning things off in this hand so that way I can tangle and design some stuff kind of like separately, but yet it all comes together eventually in the end. So we're going to go ahead and create some sections here. You can keep doodling and drawing, and if you have a concept in mind or something that you're exploring, it's exploration for you at this point in the design, by all means please keep going with that exploration, because you can always trace your hand again. That's the beauty of this simplicity of this project. So me, I'm just kind of tried a few things. I want to demonstrate several different things that you can do and with this project, so that way you kind of can take one or two of those threads and just follow those threads to wherever it leads you. So right now I'm sectioning things off so that way I have a little bit of smaller spaces to work with. And I kind of like how it's looking when I do section it off. I feel it's a little bit of like a Doctor Strange vibe happening here, like a Steve Ditko kind of design happening right here, which is kind of cool. I'm digging it. Let me erase these lines again because I told you I don't need those anymore. So we're almost kind of making a thumb ring right here, right? I don't know what symbol I'm going to put in there yet. I've got the elements. So what else is another element? I already got lightning happening with the wind or the water over here. So maybe I don't know. You know what? What if there was the element of mortality, death? And maybe I'll do bones and stuff like that. Actually, that could work. But I gotta be careful how I draw my bones. I don't want them to look like something else. That's naughty. So I'll come back to that when I'm feeling a little bit less blurry eyed right now. But I feel like we're really moving along this quickly. I'm at 47 minutes of streaming, but all that hasn't been drawing. All right, I'm gonna look around, just kind of look around my room for more inspiration. I like these little floral patterns happening right here. I like the Van Gogh thing. So I didn't even notice that when I was looking at stuff, and it's just kind of something that was in my default, was it within my mental library or my mental catalog of assets and materials that I like to associate with. I've got Juneteenth stuff right here, the Pan African American flag right here, things that matter to me, little Naruto stuff that fandom I enjoy. We got anatomy stuff right here too, you know. So yeah, I got a lot of stuff I can pull from. I got more vines. I've got a Black Panther little stuffy here. I love the lines and designs that are on Black Panther with the movie and the Wakanda stuff. Really cool symmetrical things, but also like like still like more cultural or authentic. Like I don't know, it's really cool. So maybe I do that in here. So what if I wanted to do a little bit of Wakanda circuitry? We're gonna add some teeth or talons here. And then let's see here. They have like an old, so let's go and do that, which means we'll go up into the other one, but okay. A little bit of circles. And now I feel like we're getting into Jack Kirby territory, which is kind of cool. Or maybe some indigenous type of patterning. when I said about juxtaposition and doing contrast or opposites, that includes values such as black and white or dark and light. You can still do that as well. Apologize if my left hand is covering up what I'm drawing. I'll do a reveal here in just 1 second. All right, so just quick reveal. Again, stuff's not completely straight. It's not symmetrical. It's a little crooked, and that's okay. We're going to keep it moving. So I'm really vibing on that. I kind of want to continue that. Should I? Let's see what else can I look at. Yeah, we're going to continue it. In fact, we're going to do a whole bunch of like paneling almost. And then when we fill that in, it'll be every other type of panel. Okay. All right. And then if you need to, go ahead and close that off if you need to. And what was this? This was a vine, wasn't it? So now we're going to really get into this botanical tangle stuff. I'm going to darken this line because I feel like there's a chance for more contrast happening right here. Oh, cool. Thank you, Tom. Tom Williams, another great comic artist and artist, especially locally here in Columbus, says, not sure if you've ever heard of the Vaseline tip with colored pencils. You lightly hit the tip of the pencil with Vaseline. It works like a solvent on the lead and produces a darker line, saves killing your hand to get that darker stroke. Tom, totally correct. You're right. That is a nice trick and all that. In my case, however, I'm just forgetting to ease up on the pencil, and it's just this heavy hand because I'm trying to focus so much that I have a bad habit, and I've always had trouble holding the pencil right. That I just basically carve into the paper. So it's honestly a bad habit of mine. So I don't necessarily want the darker line. I would like to go with the easier line, like more of an ease, but I don't know. But you're right. So that's good to know that when I do want a heavier application of the line that and I'm using color pencils, I can use Tom's trick of putting the Vaseline on the tip and go ahead and like still be able to hold the pencil lightly, but still be able to get that darker line quality if that's something that I'm going for. If I still can't seem to ease up on the pencil. Other than that, some people would use like a 4H lead to get a lighter line, but I still find myself carving into that. So, but thank you for the tip. Very good tip. I got to remember that one. Because there'll be sometimes where I'm on camera and maybe I just want color pencils to show up, or just, and this is where it stays, and that would come in handy, and it would save me stress on my hand. So, but speaking of Tom Williams, while you're here, Tom, if you want to, please by all means drop your links to your artwork and your social media in the chat. So those of us, those people who are on here that aren't from the local area can check out your work. Tom does a lot of the promo posters for Space, the Small Press Artist Comic Expo. I think I did the acronym right. I always mess that up. I always get worried. All right. I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing right here. I just want you to guess. Because if you're a fan, you'll know exactly what I'm doing. You might be a fan, and I might be not doing it right though. Now that I think about it, I'm like, am I even doing this right? Okay, I think I'm butchering this. I'm not even doing it right. So I will tell you what I was trying to do. I was trying to do the Kirby crackle, but that's actually harder for me to do than it appears for other people, because it's like a weird trick for me. It's like an optical illusion for me, because you're supposed to make all these ellipses, but then these ellipses overlap one another and create like dark little blurbs or like ink blots. And then there's like the color, then there's spaces where it's not filled in, and the color, the background color or the white comes through, and it creates this nice contrast of like an energy signature. So, but and they're just like little ellipses that kind of like surround one another, or or yeah. I need to obviously go back and reference that. So okay. So I've got all this happening right here, right here. Do I want to darken this line or leave it alone? I might leave this one alone for now. Or you know what I can do? I can go halfway by adding a hatch or just a few parallel lines next to each other. I can give the indication that it might be a little bit gray or filled in a little bit, but not completely dark and not completely white. So, and you can do that with just putting lines next to one another. The closer you do it, the darker it would appear to be. The wider the lines when it comes to single hatching, the lighter the gradient, I guess, or tone will appear. But it gives us something to look at. And I actually like that. Now, using this is going to inform this for me. And I'm putting my lines a little bit further apart. I don't even think I hit record again. Did I do that again? Oh my God. I'm gonna have to do this whole tutorial over again for my YouTube channel to edit later on. That's okay, because I actually like doing these. Maybe I'll ask one of the kids to trace my right hand, my left hand, and I can have a pair. So that's good. That's an opportunity. It's a little family bonding, maybe. They'll usually say no, but you know. So if you're going, man, I kind of liked it when you kept it white. Why'd you do that? You messed it up. No, I didn't, because you know what? And another. And another. Not that exciting, right? Well, let's do this then. If you're wondering how to build up your library of assets, patterns, and just tangles or doodles, if you see a cool carpet, like when you're walking around like a store or something, or walking around a swap meet or something, take out your phone, snap up a photo of it at different depths, depths of view and all that, and then go home and put a little piece of paper and trace the pattern or look at it and practice it, and boom, now you got another set of design. Okay, we still have this whole thing to do, and you know what? I'm going to take some inspiration from the whole skeleton, but also like again Kirby, and act as if this is an X-ray of sorts. And I can erase lines if I need to. And I'm going to put these right here along the way. And then I'm going to go back in and erase. And when I ink, so now we're going to go ahead, and my pencil's really dull right now, but and again, you might be better and more capable of drawing nice lines, circles, and all that, and that's fine. If you really want to use a ruler and template, that's cool too. But I don't want to stress perfection right now, and I'm not really worried about that right now, because I just want to draw. I just want to act. I can always take this into a program later on and do straight perfect lines if I want to later on. And you know, maybe I will. Oh, I hear thunder. I didn't know we had a storm coming. So I don't know how long I'll have y'all for. All right. So I was kind of looking at this idea as if it was bones and everything like that. So now they're skulls. They're just basically cartoon skulls now. And that fills up some space too. Yeah, I gotta sharpen this again. But again, as like before you know it, you'll have the space filled up, and then you can move on to inking. My eyes are really like itchy. It's like allergies or I don't know what's going on, but let's do some energy here. I'm kind of going a little bit comic booky, like Silver Age comic booky on here, I think, on this particular pattern. And I might do something, a different pattern that's way more like a completely different aesthetic. But right now, this is just kind of where I'm just having fun with this. So, okay. And then I kept this left alone. Oh yeah, we are definitely getting like lightning. So I'm just going to use a different directional hatching. It's still single hatching to fill in these gaps.